Hello,
Hey.
everyone. Welcome to we missed the cue. Welcome to In the Mix with the Mitchells. I am Sanita Mitchell.
And I am Toney Mitchell, and we are the perfect family blend, where it is our mission to build, nurture, and keep blended families together. We have a great show on tonight.
Yes. We are so excited about tonight.
Yes. We're going to keep it saucy.
Yes, we are 1 week away from Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. And, you know, this is such an important holiday to people, you know, all across the world. It's a big day, but every day should be Valentine's Day. Every day we should be sharing the love. But anyway, we are going to have someone here who is going to help us married couples keep things spicy.
Yes.
Right? Because, you know, I love Valentine's Day, right? You know, I love the cards, the flowers, but that should not be the only day that I get cards and flowers, right? So we kind of did some research on why we're even doing this show about keeping it hot and spicy, because we learned that 40% of all marriages end in divorce, okay? And then 20% of married couples have a sexless marriage.
Oh.
Come on.
Oh.
Sexless marriage means they're not doing anything. And what was interesting in the research was that a lot of the sex therapists and those who work with couples in that area, they really were saying how, you know, they haven't really been able to define what sexless is, because they were saying that sexless can be considered if you're only, if a couple is only having sex 10 times out the entire year.
Wow.
The year, 365 days, and you're only having sex 10 times out of that.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, that is not good. And then they were saying that, we got a caller?
Do we have a caller?
All right, let's see what this is. Hello?
Hello?
Uh-oh.
Hello?
Maybe they dialed them. They didn't want to talk.
They didn't want to say anything.
So 20% of married couples are a sexless relationship, where they're saying that statistically it means that they're having sex 10 times or less during the year. And then they were saying that if that's Randa calling you. We on this show.
We are on the show right now.
That's our guest. She's trying to figure out where we are. But if you want to take it, and we need her to get here. So pardon us. She's going to come on.
I'm going to excuse myself for a second.
Right. And so anyway, sorry about that. So we just got to keep rolling with the punches. So 20% of couples have a sexless marriage, or they were saying that if they weren't having sex as much as they wanted to, that could be considered a sexless marriage as well. And so out of that 20% of couples, that 45% of couples end up getting a divorce that are in a sexless relationship. So sex is very important in a marriage. And, you know, for some people, that is the whole reason why some people get married. And he messed up my computer here, so that's why I'm kind of looking down for a second just to get back, because I got these great statistics and I want to tell you all about it. And so anyway, so it is so important that we talk about this, because what we find is we go to a lot of conferences, we go to a lot of workshops, we go to a lot of seminars, and we talk about empowerment, we talk about boundaries, we talk about finances, we talk about estate planning, we talk about how to rear our children, but rarely do we talk about keeping intimacy and our sex life in marriage strong. And the reason why I separated the two between intimacy and sex is because a lot of times we combine those two things, intimacy and sex, and they're not the same. Intimacy is about a closeness with another person. So like, for example, you can have an intimate conversation with a friend. Right? That's a close relationship. That is a close conversation. That doesn't mean that you and your friend are sleeping together. So sometimes we intertwine sex and intimacy, and the lines get a little grayed. And so when we talk about sex and intimacy, people think it's the same. So that's why the expectations can be a little gray, because we're thinking that intimacy is sex, and intimacy is not sex. Intimacy is having that close relationship with someone else, that conversation with someone else. With your children, it can be, hugging them, having a one-on-one conversation with them. With your spouse, you can be intimate with your spouse and not have sex with your spouse. So intimacy and sex are not the same, but you need it in order to enhance your sex life. So I had posted on one of our pages that intimacy, that transparency leads to intimacy. And you have to be able to be open and honest with your spouse, right? You have to be able in a marital relationship. So now we're just moving on, and we're going to stay focused on the marriage relationship. And so we have to be able to be open and have these hard conversations. So tonight we're going to talk about some things that most people may feel uncomfortable about. A lot of people don't talk about this. They don't talk about what they like to do. They don't talk about what they don't like. They just, they don't talk about if they're happy in their sex life. They don't know how to talk about positions and trying new toys, or because we got Randa here and she's got some stuff here. And so you need to be open, because so many times we just go through the monotony of doing the same thing. And like for some of us, we could close our eyes and know exactly what our spouse is going to do in the exact same order, right? And sometimes that's boring.
That is extremely boring. And I don't know if I'm just picking back on what you just saying right now, but as for a man, we have to make sure that just like Sanita mentioned with the intimacy versus just having sex. You can have sex all the time, and for a man, for some men, that's just all you really want, is just the sex. But if you're married to your spouse and you're married to your wife, the sex ain't just a part of the game. You have to also commit to the intimacy part. That means you have to feed her mentally. You have to feed her spiritually. You have to get her on a level where she wants to have intimacy, have sex with you. Not just, okay, let's just do this bump and grind, let's get it over with, because I can't withhold from you.
Right.
So, you just have to step your game up, so to speak. And I'm guilty of that sometimes. And I have to step my game up too. So it's a continuous process in this.
Right. And so tonight we have Miss Randa Lee, and she is with Bedroom Candy. Ooh. And so that just sounds sweet and spicy in itself, right? And so we've known Randa for a long time. And so we're going to take a short break, and we're going to bring her on, and we're going to get right into tonight's session. So put your kids away, and make sure, let me give you the number real quick to dial in, 240-719-2560, because we want you to interact. We want you to engage with us on this conversation, and Ms. Randa has some giveaways, so you definitely want to stay tuned for that. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. welcome back to In the Mix with the Mitchells, where I'm Sanita Mitchell.
And I am Toney Mitchell, trying to get everything set up here.
And we have our special guest here, Ms. Randa Lee with Bedroom Candy. Woo! Yes, I was so excited to have her here, and I told her to make sure she bring all her toys and all kinds of things. We're going to talk about everything. And so if you have any questions, please call us in at 240-719-2560. Okay. So, Miss Randa, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I'm
Yes,
so thrilled
I'm
to
so
be
excited.
here.
I said, look at her.
Congratulations, first of all, on In the Mix with the Mitchells. Can we just take a moment and acknowledge your presence?
You are too
And
funny.
sharing the goodness and sharing good news and good words with the people.
That's
I
right.
really applaud you all.
Thank
Because
you.
you're talking about a lot of stuff that is very hard for people to talk about. So
Yes.
thank you for breaking it down the way we understand it.
Yes.
And communicating with us, just bringing it down our street on our level.
Thank you. Thank you. You're so sweet. So tell our audience who you are.
Okay.
And how long have you been married? So we want to get to know you.
Okay.
Before we get into your goodie bags, we
Okay.
want to get to know you.
I got you.
So tell us who you are.
I am Mrs. Randa Lee. I am married to my wonderful husband, Philip. We have been married 10 years.
Yes. It's been 2
I
years.
know, right?
Oh my God. This going on year 11 though, right?
This is year 11.
Yeah, because we didn't get married the same year. We got married the next year.
We're at the end of, we just celebrated the decade, so we're now entering the 11th year
Oh
of
my gosh.
togetherness. And,
Yes.
aw,
Right.
So we have 3 children together. We have a blended family.
Yes, I was going to say that.
His daughter is 21, and my oldest is 18.
I know.
Jeremiah. And
Oh,
then we
Jesus.
have one together, Jaden, and he will be 10
Yes.
this year.
Yes.
And that is all. Praise
Yes.
the Lord. That is all. We're done.
That used to didn't always be the case. She used to want to do one more, but I guess she changed her mind. So
Well, let other folks.
let other folks. That's what I say. Why we gotta have all the kids?
There was a
Why we
big
gotta- I
pregnancy
know.
wave in 2018.
Yes,
okay?
and there's a lot of them getting ready to
And-
give birth in 2019. Why do I need? Let them do it. Yeah, we
So
good.
I kind of just,
Right.
I just got them on the early side. Now I don't catch them on the end. I just catch them before, help them get to that place.
Right. Come on now. That's
Yeah.
right.
Come
And
on,
we're gonna talk
transition.
about
Come
that.
on,
Come on,
transition.
transition.
Yes.
That is so important because what we wanted to talk about was how do you maintain, because we're still talking about you as the businesswoman and wife and mother. So how do, plus, you run your own business, you got your, bedroom candy, and then you also do something else, right?
Virtual assistants.
Virtuous assistant, which we need to talk about. And so, so how do you maintain intimacy in your sex life with your husband when you got all these different things going on?
Wow, what a good question. Right. Keep it with those. So it has to be purposeful.
Right.
It has to be lighthearted and fun. So
Right.
when we overthink things and we're in our head, especially as women, because we're thinking about so much, I have to depend on my husband to kind of get me out of my head. If he can get me out of my head, then we're all, man. And it's the little things that help us to get out of our head.
That's what I was going to say. So tell the women how they can get out of their head, and then tell the husbands how they can help their wives to get out of their
Yeah,
heads.
I'm taking notes.
Right.
Okay. So
Because that's
it's
important.
kind of like the art of seduction.
Right.
So I know you all have discussed the 5 love languages. And one of them is acts of service.
Right.
So I know one of my love languages is acts of service. So when I come home and he's straightening the house up, it smells like bleach, the sink is
Come
empty.
on, bleach smell
The
is so
stove
exotic.
is on, baby.
Yes.
I don't care what you make. You can make grilled cheese. Listen. What?
Yes.
What? Especially because I'll come home from having a party or something like that, and he'll just take the jacket, or he'll cater to me.
Woo, come on.
So that makes me want to cater to him.
Yes. Come
So
on.
take me out of my head of, okay, did we do the laundry? Did we get this? What about the groceries? What about da-da-da? Take me out of that where I'm only focused on, well, looky.
Right.
Well, looky.
Yes.
You know, and that makes me want to focus on how can I serve him?
That's
what can I do for him?
Yes.
And it might just mean, okay, well, you know, he gonna want to go paintballing with the fellas.
Right.
So let's make sure, you know, that everything is straight, and Saturday morning is, you know, his clothes is together, his boots is by the door, because I know that's what he want to do. So,
yes, that's
it's,
good.
It's those little things that
the little things.
They're huge.
Yeah.
And they build up.
It builds up.
Because the big things, they can tear us down if we let them.
Right.
And they're so quick.
Wow.
And that's kind of like how I got into Bedroom Candy. So with Bedroom Candy, sorry to say, Bedroom Candy, for those of us who don't know.
Yes, please explain Bedroom
Candy is a small minority-owned business created and founded by Candy Burris of Real Housewives of Atlanta.
She is too powerful.
Grammy Award-winning songwriter, producer, formerly of Escape, wrote No Scrubs, etc., etc.
Right. Minor
It's become
details.
my vehicle of making coin and starting my own business.
Yes.
And it's really allowed me to come into people's homes to demystify the stigma of sex.
Yes. Ooh. And that's what we gonna get into.
That was like, it was major for me. So I started almost a little over a year ago, and I had lost my good government job due to furlough. I was a contractor.
Okay.
I was a freelancer.
Okay, right.
So there was no government job to come back to, and I needed something that would give me coin in my pocket right now.
Right.
And in essence, I was presented an opportunity where it was just kind of like, it was like a Tupperware party for sex toys.
Woo, woo.
Wow.
And it was the best thing that I have ever done. And it really, for an introvert like me, it brought me out my shell. It really did. Because, you know.
I'm looking at her talking about she an introvert.
Introvert.
An introvert. That's where I'm stuck at. Introvert. I'm like, wait a minute. Introvert. Where did that come from? Right.
There's nothing like being in a house. Shoes off, bra off. Listen.
Right.
Come on. Am I lying? So
you are not lying.
I would cocoon myself.
Yeah.
I don't have no job. Christmas is coming up. What are these kids going to do? Da, 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 da. And this gave me an opportunity to get out of my head.
Yes.
And having a spouse that would kind of push me like, hey, I know you're not where you want to be, but dream bigger.
Wow.
You're looking too small.
Woo, that is so good in itself.
And he was just like, don't go back. Yeah, I could go get any freelance job. I could go be an admin. I could go do an office management. But what do you want to do? Start asking yourself that question. I hadn't asked myself that question. So having that support system present for me really just kind of changed my mindset. So when you all are talking about intimacy, it begins in the mind.
It does.
Yes.
You know,
Please say that again. Intimacy begins in the mind. That's why it can't be physical all the time. It has to start here in our mind.
And it'll end here. Guess what? Like if he slaps me on my booty and tells me that thing bounces, that means I know he's looking at it. I know he's looking at it, and I like that a little, you know. Right. So it's in my mind. I'm just saying.
That's in your mind.
It starts and ends exactly there. So what I do like with the Bedroom Candy is that it allows me to educate while I empower women and men.
Yes.
So a lot of companies where they only allow women, these bring men into the fold.
Really?
So I've had all male parties, or I've had couples parties where I'm like, come on, fellas, am I lying? Let's help the ladies out. Are we doing this correctly? Because I want to teach the ladies how to pleasure their men. And when we had the all-male party, the men were just saying the same things that we were saying, and they were like, you know, hey, I do all of this stuff, but she's not attracted to me, or she don't touch me.
We're going to talk about that.
You know, like the same issues, the same, how do I get their attention?
Right.
So for the foundation, we are all the same.
Yeah.
We all feel the same, hurt people.
Good.
And we got to, wake up and catch our attention.
Yeah, that is so good. So, yes, that's good because we talk about that, because we talk about, maybe should we take our break now or keep going?
Because it's getting good. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, listen.
Keep going. Okay.
Like
because because we're gonna get on into it because we know this hour goes by very fast and we have a lot of questions.
Oh, we got a power hour ready
So
for you.
right, yes. So it's like okay, so let's get into it because we talk about spouses. We talk about like you were saying, they all express different needs. They we're saying the same thing in a different way, but about meeting our needs. And so some of the things that we've come across is what are some things that a man can do to make his wife want him or help the clueless man know how. This was your question you were saying some of the men asked if we're clueless about how to make the wife want the husband, because sometimes they just clueless. Like Toney was saying earlier, that sometimes men can just think, oh, if I rub her back, that's sex, or if that was your question.
Yeah, so it was
right.
So basically, not only is it a question that most men ask, in different forums that I participate in, it's something that I deal with myself. It's just kind of like, hey, I give her a nice massage, do it real nice and everything. I'm thinking, hey, I'm in. I'm about to, get it on, and next thing you know, she's out. So now I'm just like,
what just happened?
I'm just like, what happened? I thought this was.
Thank you, babe. I needed that.
Or hey, we could be in the bed and we could be cuddled up, and I'm thinking, yeah, we all cuddled up. Yeah, let me go ahead and make my move, and next thing you know, boom, she's asleep. It's just like, what am I missing? Or just like you said, the acts of kindness. I might, hey, step up and say, hey, I'm washing the dishes, or I'm washing the clothes, fold up the clothes, actually put the clothes up. Took it.
That's major.
He's been doing that. He's been doing that. The laundry is
dry.
Come on.
Fold. Put away.
Oh my.
That's a 4-step process.
Yes.
And I've done the 4-step process. And
especially if you have steps.
I'm in.
You gotta go up them steps to put it away.
Right.
Oh, Lord.
And I'm thinking, I'm in. I'm thinking, I'm in. Yeah, it's going to be. I get a pat on the back, and it's just like, hey, thank you so much. That was real. I might get a kiss, and then I'm just like, what happened? So help us to help ourselves.
That's such a great question, because I think I'm guilty of doing the exact same thing.
Just be like, thank you.
Y'all gonna have to come and tell us, what do you all do to kind of share that, because I know that we sometimes have little code words or things that we do, and for us, because we are often very complex. That's the way God made us. You guys are very straight and to the point.
Yeah.
And sex works like that for you all as well. For us, because we're thinking about so much, you could nibble on my ear and I'm still not thinking about having sex.
I'm not.
I'm thinking about, okay, well, it's just a commercial break because Law and Order is about to come back on.
I know.
And I'm not thinking of I'm rejecting him or I'm just rolling over. It is not an intentional thing. Let me just apologize. My bad. Just because I feel like I didn't hear, and that might just be for me.
Right.
Because y'all really are talking to my situation, mother.
Right. You do feel bad because it'd be like, oh man, I'm just tired. In women's minds, I am usually just thinking, okay, what do I have to do tomorrow? Okay, let me process what I need to be doing.
Do we have to make appointments? I've heard folks say, making appointments.
Schedules, yeah.
Schedule that time.
Yeah, scheduling.
Date night, quality time. Yes, we want to be sporadic. Unfortunately, we tend to be tied to our schedules,
And she's all up in it, isn't she?
And
yes.
That's just a life that we kind of live. We have kids. Even if we don't have kids, we have so many other commitments.
Yeah,
work. If you have work, if you have been blessed with the bug of entrepreneurship, then that's a whole nother bear.
Because it doesn't
that
cut off.
A spouse has to support. My spouse has to see me, the phone, the smartphone. Listen. How many times we don't apologize because I'll get off the laptop downstairs, come upstairs. Hold on, I got one thing. Hold on. It's just that thought.
It's that one. I got to do it right now.
And so a lot of the time we do have to be we have to be intentional.
Yeah.
Just like we are with our kids. You have to teach them their history. You have to teach them finance.
Yeah.
You have to teach them how to be out in these communities, in these streets. We have to be purposeful because it's so easy to be like, she don't want me no more.
Right.
Or he doesn't want me anymore. And I'm like, well, no. Let's find something different.
And that's what I was going to say. So now that's a good segue to the mundane, right? Let's change things up.
Mundane.
Yeah.
What do you offer for couples who struggle with the mundane? Like, they can literally, as I mentioned earlier, close their eyes and know exactly what their spouse is going to do because their spouse do the same thing. Like, it's the same thing. You know you're going to take your shower. You're going to get in the bed. You're going to lay down. He's going to kiss you. You're going to kiss him. It's like go in the same order. So it's like you already know. So how can a couple, especially if a couple, when you're talking about 10 years, 11 years, because, when you're newlyweds, child, all you got to do is show up, right? Just show up.
All you got to do is just look
at each other, and it's just boom. But like around year 3, the boom ain't so much boom. You needed to get some help.
Yeah, the boom.
Because a lot of the things have worn off. Like the boom has bombed. You know what I mean? Because now the boom has bombed, and now you may not be, because when it's
you're
new.
Coasting.
Yeah, you're coasting. You're like you didn't think you'd done everything.
That's the roller coaster where you're like, okay, you're waiting for the next.
Right, you waiting for the next incline.
Yes.
And all you keep doing is just going around the bend. So what can a couple do?
Did I come for my therapy? Can you not be on my street?
I just say just going around the same curve. You know what I mean?
So I'm going to give you something different. We have Bedroom Candy. What I do like is that they have items, not just, we have the adult toys, yes, but they have the bath and body items, and they have things for the men's collection as well as educational items. So if you are celibate, if you're single, if you're focused on self-pleasure, exploring different facets of your body, or just trying to introduce new things into your relationship, that can be doing something different.
Yeah.
So, do we have time for me to show you one thing?
Sure, yeah.
All right. So, let's say we plan a date night.
Right.
Like you said.
Do the G-rated just in case. We
got to
talk to Ron first. See
See
how far we can go.
Right? So with this date night, we just have some simple dice.
Yes.
So we done went out to dinner. We're going to come home. And you're gonna roll the dice.
Roll the dice.
So roll
the dice. Y'all men know how to roll dice.
Yeah, come on.
Hey, Mr. Sheikah.
Okay.
Kiss the neck.
Kiss the neck.
And that'll be something there. We'll be like, okay, babe,
Right.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's your turn.
Okay, let's see what I got.
Roll the dice.
Ooh.
Oh,
Kinky. I got the kinky. Blow between legs. Yes. Whoop, whoop.
Okay.
Yes.
So after a couple of
everybody-
rolls on the dice, that's just the right when you got home from dinner on a date night, okay?
Dinner on a date night, some dice, right?
Now, if you
Simple.
wanted to expand, you were talking about the mundane. So we were talking about coasting along that roller coaster. So when we were talking about intimate time
Yes.
with our spouse, with our lover,
Right.
we tend to do the
Who don't like carbs?
basics.
Yeah, basic.
And when we say the basics, we may
our producer over there is like, oh.
we all know the morning the morning cuddle. Okay?
Right.
We all know, the different zones you will go for.
Right.
Okay, so far.
Right. He's like,
What
okay.
these right here are some of our cards. There are 52 in a deck. And you'll see that each one has, you can't really see it.
That's okay.
Each one has
We can.
a title.
Don't even turn it around.
It has a title. It has a technique.
Right.
It has a description, as well as it has a level of intensity.
Wow.
So if you wanted to say, hey, pick a card, any card, babe, and then let's try that out. Now, listen, not all of us are the young Thundercats that we used to be, okay?
Right.
So I might say pick 1, 2, 3 cards, okay? And we might choose the best option. But
Okay.
let's see.
I pick a card. Then he picks
And
one.
you pick one and see what we're going to do. See what they going to do.
Are we supposed to read these?
Well, no.
Oh,
you can just see how it would give you something new to think about.
Yeah, let me
And
tell you
as they
guys,
come
these
together-
cards are. So then we would take the cards, because you got to tell them how to use the cards. Because I know I've gotten some things, and I know LaVon is on here, and she's giving me some stuff like when we first got married at my bachelorette party, she gave me some stuff. But I think when we get the stuff, it's kind of like, what do you do with it? So we get these cards. So are we supposed to put the cards together and do both of the things?
Pick a card.
Okay.
Now, when you all are working on your intimacy, trust, communication is major.
Right.
So this at least jumpstarts the conversation.
Right.
Where you all are already giggling and it's,
right.
oh my God. I don't know if I can do that one, but maybe we can do that over there. You know, can my leg go right there? You know,
Might have to make some adjustments.
Right, exactly.
It does not have to be like the card, because these cards
make it your own.
Make it your own.
So
because these people are skinny on this card. Right.
It's a jumping off.
They're skinny.
Because they give you lots of options that you've likely encountered or in some facet or another.
You guys want these cards. Can you tell them where they can order the cards?
These cards are called Strike a Pose cards, and all of the things that I'm showing you, Strike a Pose, they're available on my website, trinity'streasures.fun, F-U-N.
Right. And I'll go back and put it in the news in the feed.
So, strike a pose.
Strike a pose.
Yeah, like
and that helps. And that helps because sometimes, so again, you kind of touched on it. So with all of these things, because we're going to get her to be able to go through a lot of these items on this table, but how do you introduce that? Because I think sometimes as couples, as women, as sometimes the men, like you got things on this table that sometimes couples can be like, what? First off, what is all this? And then two, where did you get this stuff from, or the idea? Like, why do you want this? Like, so how do a spouse approach their spouse about introducing something like, you know, an oil, the creams I know you're going to get to. And so it's like, how do they introduce this
catalog? Yay.
Yeah. And so how do you get to that and introduce that to your spouse without them feeling like, am I not satisfying you?
Right.
Or why do we need all of this? Is this necessary?
Yeah, I was actually I was going to ask that, but you already kind of picked it up. How do you get to the point where you could talk about, hey, we need to spice it up, and then get to the point where you get to this?
Introduce it.
Introduce this.
Slowly, with the open communication. So one angle that I've told couples when we have our sessions before is, I would say, create a sex menu.
Whoa.
And it's just like, your carry-out menu. And it's literally you and your lover writing down, hey, what are the top maybe 3 to 5 things that you would like to try? What would send you running away or back to your place? Or if
we talking about couples.
Married,
we talking about couples.
You're running to the basement.
Right.
And then what would be like, hands off. Where you're like, pineapples, like, we're not doing that.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Write it down. I might do a little toe sucking, but I don't want you to put my whole foot in your mouth.
Right.
Or you could slap me, but I don't want you calling me out my name. Like things like that, but write it down.
You gotta
swap it. Swap it to say, okay, we're going to be honest, just to say, we're sharing that. So that's one avenue to say, okay, we're sharing what I will take, what I won't take, and what is the in-between, and we can kind of figure out the rest.
So the boundaries, because we do have something on there about, you have to establish boundaries on how far you're willing to go. Because, but that comes with the communication. So you have to talk. Couples, you have to talk. We talk about everything. We talk about everything except our sex life and what we want. And so, and because it's another question, but go ahead, keep going, because you said one. Go ahead. So you had another point.
Well, no, the sex menu, that's definitely one. Mm-hmm. Going through, just making it intentional that we're going to do something. So a lot of the things where I say start with a massage, start with we know we're having a date night. We know we're having some quality time. and slowly introduce maybe one thing to say, hey, you know, I was looking at this. I got it from Randa with Bedroom Candy.
Right, I know that's right.
I'd like to try it. What do you think?
Right.
See what they say. A lot of men, a lot of women, if they come back with the why you need the interview, and stay calm. Because if it's something that they haven't experienced before, you have to approach it gingerly.
Right.
And that comes with, you know, what if you're dealing with somebody who's, you know, never had an orgasm before?
We're going to talk about that.
Woo,
we got like 15 minutes.
Okay, we ain't
yes.
jump ahead.
No, but keep going, because what is an orgasm? Because we doing good? Okay. So look, because how do you handle that if your spouse has had one and you haven't? So if one spouse has had an orgasm before the other one hasn't, then what do they do?
Learn.
Right.
Learn. I mean, honestly, like when we were little, sex was not on TV like that. We were trying to watch through the squiggly lines of the Spike Channel. You know what I mean?
HBO after 10. HBO after 10. Hear the little music.
The taxi cab confession.
Right.
That was a horrible way to introduce me to sex, okay? So now, you know, at least I know what Bedroom Candy is, that a portion of what we do is educate.
Right.
So a lot of the collection that we have, I know we have at least 8 books out there that address just that. That say discover the can I say medical terms? All right. So we're going to discover the clitoris, discover what to do with the penis, discover how to give proper cunnilingus and fellatio, as well as we have some on poetry, aphrodisiacs, things of that nature. So I brought one.
Okay.
We weren't going to oversaturate. We only have an hour.
Right.
But, you know, fellas will be appreciative that I bought
Tickle His Pickle.
Tickle His Pickle. Let's take a look at that. Tickle His Pickle. All of our YouTube and Facebook and all of our Instagram channels.
They're good. Go to boxwave.com.
This is by Dr. Sadie Allison's. And so this is, again, one of the educational items that we do have, where we literally go chapter by chapter from foreplay to just identifying what a penis is, the different portions of the penis.
Wow. That's a class that y'all teach?
I teach a fellatio class where you have.
We might have to have the women come and do that with Perfect Family Blend. Yeah.
And then with the fellatio class, you get the book to take home along with a tool that we have called the Helping Hands, which always will help us to tickle his pickle ladies.
Right.
There's another one that says tickle her fancy.
Wow.
And so that's for men learning how to please a woman.
Oh, okay, you could do that with the husband.
So again, we just have to learn and be willing to learn. So I don't expect, or nobody really expects, you to know everything. And when you first get together in your relationship, it's that rose-colored glasses that where you didn't really realize that they didn't know how to tickle your elbow. But y'all were all in love.
Yeah,
so
everything's new. We waited, girl. We waited.
Doing it, you know, and he thought he was, you know, amazing, or you thought you were amazing, and y'all were just puppies in love.
And that's another part
20 years now, what we doing?
What we doing? We doing the same thing we did when we first got
Tickle
started.
my elbow another kind of way, okay?
Right, you can't do it the same way.
Tickle the next elbow.
But this is a question too, because sometimes we do have people who are single and they are abstaining, or we have people who are virgins. So just for a few moments, talk about how they can, their first experience. So they've waited, you know, a lot of, you know, Christian women, and men, because, you know, we got some male versions, some female versions. We have some born again versions who are holding out. So tell them, so that if they've never experienced, and, you know, virgins they don't even know, like, how would they, if somebody gave them that, like, what would, if we wanted to give them a gift, what would we give them, and how would they know to use that? Because I think that's also, you know, something that gets overlooked, is the people who aren't doing this, and so they're trying to maintain. One of the first
things that I would start with is, when I go into my consulting time or my coaching time, I ask, do you enjoy clitoral play or penetrative play?
Right.
So that's first something. And if they're a virgin or they haven't been, embraced in a while, they may not know the difference. So I explain where the clitoris is, what would be the difference. And I would start them off with something that would have a less intense motor.
Right.
So something like this. This is Candy Kisses. This is our award-winning lipstick. It has one.
Lipstick?
It is. See? So it's
You gotta watch this stuff that she pulling out of this bag.
Oh,
right.
But it'll fit right in your makeup bag.
Okay.
And it's not something that I'm afraid that, if it rolled out on the table or it rolled out
It
your
look like
purse,
lipstick.
It looked like lipstick. So I like it. It's petite and discreet, and it's not super strong, meaning it has 7 pulsations, and it's something that you can it's handheld. So what I will say, all of our toys are USB rechargeable, ladies. No more batteries. No more.
Wow.
Gone are the batteries. You can plug it up to the car, plug it up to the computer. Let's go. TSA friendly because it doesn't have a battery.
Okay.
So, but this has a lighter, and you'll see that this medical grade silicone feels like a velvet.
Okay. We take it.
You'll notice that we do use the higher grade silicone. Some of the other toys where they have silicone that's like jelly and see-through, you'll notice that it'll pick up dust.
Right.
And it's really hard to get that dust off, and imagine the bacteria that it'll retain. So we just invest a little bit more to ensure that you have high quality grade silicone. Now this is Candy Kisses. It's a clitoral massage, but they can use this to explore different areas of their body. So I would start with something slow, something basic like this for a beginner.
Right.
Now,
getting back into it, because if they're not doing any of this stuff, they're just like, yeah, that's cool, Randa. I'm just going to not even try to stir up the gift until God brings me my husband. Then, that's something that they can, once they get married, that will slow walk them. Because I'm talking about the people who are engaged or they're dating, and they're looking at this and they're like, okay, what can I order and put to the side? So that would be something that will slow walk them once they are married and ready to go. Because I know we get questions about that, and it's the intimidation and anxiety of
having something that's
something new, right?
So something that's terrifying.
So this is
it's like
good.
putting on your first stiletto. You don't want to start
way up
with
high.
the
You can
6-inch.
sometimes got to start at 3 and work your way. Okay, so.
So one of the questions we had was, so we're talking about getting the sauce back into, the marriage and spicing it up. So what if you have a spouse, either the husband or the wife, that really just doesn't enjoy sex, for one reason or another? How can you get them to, get to the point where they can enjoy sex?
Wow. So, we would want to start with, what do they enjoy? Okay. Had they ever enjoyed sex? And did something happen to change that?
Yeah.
So, were we having sex before and, diet changed or something happened? Was there a lifestyle change? And now, the libido or the testosterone is falling.
That's good. Yeah.
Because a lot of us are on, medications that will change our desires.
Yeah.
So for that,
because that's what I was going to say. Because a lot of men, while you getting that, a lot of men can deal with the erectile dysfunction, and then the women go through hormonal imbalance. Like either they're about to go into menopause or some other, hormone imbalance. So sometimes they just have a hard time with the interest in their bodies functioning the way that they
So I have
supposed
two
to.
things for you.
Okay.
So a lot of what we see is it hits on all of our 5 senses: sight, sound, taste, touch, and smell.
Okay.
So in hitting on smell, we do have our Light My Fire scented massage oil candles. And these come in a variety of scents, both edible and just regular. They're all
edible wax.
They're all
Wait a minute.
because they're all soy-based and vegan
Oh,
friendly,
okay.
technically they're all edible, but only the chocolate, the watermelon, and the vanilla taste like something.
Oh,
So this
listen.
one doesn't taste like
Chocolate
anything.
and vanilla.
But that one smells
And
divine.
watermelon.
There's
Watermelon.
a
has some-
watermelon that tastes like watermelon.
Oh, okay. For
But-
all you fruity lovers.
So I used to be a huge Yankee Candle girl, and I would use
Yes.
that because what I noticed
Yankee
is when
Candle.
you burn a candle, there's a little bit of black soot
Right.
that comes out. Now, what this would do is it burns room temperature, and it would encourage hands. It would encourage the touch.
Wow.
Which is just something, one of the basics. When you were saying, okay, well, I'll give her a massage and she'll go to sleep. Well, listen, if you give me a hot oil massage,
Right. Hot oil might wake
that's
you
something
up.
different. Okay,
Right.
it might wake you right on up. Okay. Now, what it also does is all of our products are infused with pheromones.
Oh.
Pheromones, my dear, are everybody has their pheromones. It's like your love potion number 9.
Right.
And what it does is it triggers the nerves in the brain that stimulates arousal, desire, and passion. So somebody might have a low libido, a low testosterone. I would use something that is infused with pheromones, so that way, as you're even entering in the room, they're
Wow.
already perking up. Like,
Why?
what's
What's
going
going
on?
on? Right.
So you want to attack. You want
So
to get
you
your
can
game plan
spray this
together.
stuff and walk in the room, and your spouse be like, "Whoa, it's something. What just happened?" Wow.
Every
Come
single
on now.
time. I've worn that.
Seduce me.
Seduce me. It's a
Right.
collection. They have the lotion. They have the bath wash.
Wow.
They have this body mist spray. I've actually worn this into getting a contract, having a meeting when I was doing my virtual
She's going
assistant.
into the contract with
And paid no attention to
By any
anything I
means
had to
necessary.
say, but I was spritzed down with my Seduce Me, and they
Lord.
said, yep, and signed on the dotted line.
Wow.
I lied to you not. So
Wow.
now I'm a true believer that no matter what, I'm spritzing down
Wow.
because the
That's
power
good.
of pheromones is major.
Wow.
So if we're trying to catch their attention, that's definitely going to have a turner. And then for our fellas,
yeah.
we have arrows. Now, this is something that, I had to take his off the dresser. Okay. But
That's okay. We weren't gonna judge you. That's good
like
to
a
know you
selling
using your products.
Man, okay.
Yeah.
And every man in my family has this. Now, this is a head to toe body balm here.
Hey man, you giving my baby this stuff?
Yeah.
My
You
Jeremiah?
gotta make sure yes.
Ooh, it smells good. Ooh, it
Because
smell
we are
good.
fighting ash all winter
You
long.
said fighting ash.
Okay. Now,
But
I
that's
got
what
some
I do
ass
like
on
about
hands, them knuckles, them heels,
Yes, ladies.
head
The
to
kneecaps.
toe. Now he also uses it as that shave for the razor burn.
Okay.
And that has a fair amount, like when he's
Wow.
freshly shaved, it's just
Does something to you.
so.
Look, look at him. He just he used to you. So that is good. So that's you know what, I just caught on what you was doing. Lord.
Just a little bit,
Just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit.
and that's just changing the atmosphere.
Yeah,
Now,
that's
not
true.
even getting into the ones that we have that you put on the body.
Okay.
To actually help, those of us who may have erectile dysfunction or dryness or anything like that. So we have things that even if you're going through menopause and all of that, and or I've been celibate so long that I don't even care about it.
Right.
Things like that. So we have the Viagra for females. It's called Ignite Me.
Oh, okay.
And I
did see
literally
that on
say
your site.
this jump starts the coochie. That's the sorry. Sorry, it's a battery
good
starter.
begin.
Okay,
It's a battery starter.
It is a clitoral arousal gel, glycerin
There
free,
you go, put my show on.
paraben free, and it offers you a healthier choice that once you rub on your applicable area,
There you
it'll
go.
take 10 minutes to jumpstart the engine.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ignite me.
Ignite
that's
me.
for the ladies.
That's for the,
And
and
the
that's
one
what
that
I
we have
really
for
like
men is
about
called
your
stamina, but it's the
stamina.
same.
Stamina for men and Ignite Me for women. And that's what I really like about your products is that you have something for the women and the men. Because there's no need in just keep giving. And I think
If
that
it's all us.
and I think that's where the men may feel like there's a competition with the toys, because it's like everything when it first started coming out was just for the women for themselves, but the men, it was just kind of like the substitute for the man. But he didn't want no substitutes in the room.
Because that's what we used to call them Bobs, battery operated boyfriend.
Right.
Now we've evolved that we have couples toys. Yeah. Things that we use together. And so that
takes a time to get to that point where a couple can be okay, vice versa. Because if the man start liking it and the woman's like, wait a minute, then you liking this too much, then that can be a problem. Okay, so tell everybody where they can find you, because we only have like 4 minutes left.
Oh my God.
I know, it goes by
so quick.
Fast.
Okay,
so fast.
So you can find me and all of these wonderful things at www.trinity'streasures.fun, F-U-N. And I did promise you I have a giveaway for you all. So these Strike a Pose cards, we are going to set you all up with a date night, okay?
Date nights are so important.
These Strike a Pose cards, these role play dice. So I want you all to go to In the Mix with the Mitchells, your Instagram page, and let us know something that you picked up tonight. And they will make a selection as to who how many folks do you want to select? 1 or 2?
We can pick 2.
We're going to pick 2 winners.
2 winners.
That whatever you learn tonight, come and share it with us so that we can reward you and give you all a nice date night just in time for Valentine's Day.
Just in time for Valentine's Day. Woo!
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
No,
so this is so important because we have to talk about sex in marriage. We do. And it is one of those taboo sex topics that we don't talk about, even from our church perspectives or our pulpits. We don't talk about it. And again, people, as I mentioned before, couples are sexless in their marriages. And that leads to divorce. If you're, and sexless is if you only had sex 10 times in the year. So you're not even once a month. So like there's some months you're not even having sex at all. And that is unacceptable as a couple.
Get back on that horse. You can do it. We can help you. In the Mix with the Mitchells, Trinity's Treasures. We're saving lives.
We're saving relationships.
We're about saving marriages.
One orgasm at a time.
One orgasm. You know what, Brandon?
You deserve. You see me?
You deserve that.
You deserve.
That's what God ordained. He created
some
sex.
good holy sex.
I'm just saying, it's in the Bible.
Yes, it's in the Bible.
And for all your
read the Song of Solomon.
That was the favorite jump.
Hebrews talks about the bed being undefiled, and that goes all into talking about your boundaries. So again, we are all about saving marriages here at In the Mix with the Mitchells, and we are out of time. Woo! But this went by so fast, and we will be back next week on Valentine's Day for another hot session. Because again, sometimes you do have to work and you have to do business, and we know that there's some people who are going to be struggling on Valentine's Day, and we're here for it. So join us again next week. I am Sanita Mitchell.
And I am Toney Mitchell.
And we are so thankful for Randa Lee being here with us on today with Bedroom Candy. Please find her. And once again, tell them where they can find you.
www.trinity'streasures.fun.
And we will do that wife session.
And don't forget to post
on don't forget to post on our page, on our page, The Perfect Family Blend. Go to our page and tell us 2 things that you gained from tonight, and we'll pick our winners, and you'll have a nice date night. Yeah. All right, we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
God bless.
God bless.